Yo, okay, let's just stretch your box of perception because now we're going to reach a very interesting point. Okay, so those who were able to connect the dots between this whole Coco 19, which is what I'm going to call it because fuck the trigger word, the COVID, all that crap, alright? Those who were able to connect the dots between neurolinguistic programming, surface level physiology, surface level neurology, psychology, as well as surface level or just quantum physics and metaphysics, okay? Those who kind of understood how all of it worked, and I did my best to try and explain it. Might try to make a graph. It's something that you kind of get when you start playing with all of this. Like the best thing I could tell you is go check out Dr. Joe Dispenza's book on becoming supernatural. Go check out Yogananda's book on um, autobiography of a yogi. Go check out the Gospel of Thomas, the banned Bible, because that's straight up quantum physics 2,000 years in advance. And I do add another one to people I meet in the street, which is channelings of Mary Magdalene to balance the masculine and feminine energy. But already from the first three, you'll kind of connect the dots. Then you could also check out Tony Robbins when it comes to personal power 2, the driving force, which is a deeper understanding of neurolinguistic programming. So you'll have both Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins popping up that bubble of neurolinguistic programming, as well as that surface entry of physiology and neurology, because it's connected. And that's where things kind of make much more sense. You add on top of that the systematic reduction of our immune system. Again, this you don't breathe actual fucking air. You're breathing your CO2 over and over again, and that's not good. Your air, your cells aren't getting fully oxygenated, so that's crap. Kind of kills them. The little soap continuously, and you've noticed certain people get the manic habit of let me clean this, let me put the soap, let me clean this, let me put the soap. Kills your good bacteria, weakens your immune system as well. That's number two. Not going outside, not getting that vitamin D. For those who were scared that the air is lava, well, it happens. The programming. Oh, and which programming? Television repeating you that the air is lava. Just like Santa Claus, we just got to believe it because we had a certain bubble of information being repeated over and over and over, the popular word at the time, until you got different kind of expanded information, and then we're able to connect the dots among the loudest voices around. So but still, if you didn't go outside, kills your cells. You don't necessarily get the vitamin D that would boost your cells. The fear, stress, again, you know what I'm going to say, right? Kills your cells. Because stress, again, inducing that stress hormone over and over again brings an incoherent. I don't have the entire techno babble. Go check out the Dr. Joe Dispenza's book on becoming supernatural, or You Are the Placebo, if you don't like the other title. I couldn't care less about the skepticism, because we're at a point where the skepticism got us to this point, but it's programmed skepticism. I'm just at I'm just at this state where it's like I'm not here to fucking debate. I've tested this shit out. I used to be a skeptic. I goddamn took 6 to 7 years practicing this 4 to 5 hours every goddamn night because I'm like, yo, what's going on? What, after getting certain results and just kind of wondering, wait, weren't we taught this shit? So whenever I ended up, and some of you know me, it's like on Facebook, some people want debate, and it's like, I don't have time to waste with you. You won't even fucking lift a finger to do an exercise. So it's, and I understand the programming is strong. You get the compassion. But to be effective and optimal at this, especially when you play with quantum physics, you don't have time to waste to argue with little gossip. You don't have time to waste when it comes to certain individual that if they were to apply that same mechanic or that same thinking to if they were to learn how to walk, they would have never learned how to walk. They would have, because peer review says it's hard, peer review says it's this, and it's like, okay, what about doing your own experiment? So that box being open and closed, actually, is there some more? Because the what else with the systematic reduction of our immunity system? Well, okay, you can kind of see that all that combined, plus the reduction of your activity, has made a change in your lifestyle, which eventually led to the fact that a fucking flu, a tiny little flu, instead of taking one day or even just a couple of hours at night, it how do you say, fucking kills you. Oh, plus you get the programming of, hey, you know the symptoms for a flu? Yeah, that's gonna fucking kill you. Because it's this brand new super virus. You see, just a repetition of this using the observer effect or the ancient law of as you believe it, so it is not unto you, or even the law of attraction, it doesn't matter. Observer effect is quantum physics, by the way. All of it is just targeting your own perception against you. Like, I have a little drawing I started. Where the fuck did I place it? Oh, right here. Let's see. So it's basically just the fact that you be programmed. Oh man, the light. I gotta find a way. Light. I'm wrestling with the light. Okay, good. This is gonna work somehow. Okay. So basically, the fact that TV, media, and all that shit has programmed the brain to believe that, and I didn't get to it yet, but mask, coughing, oh my god, viruses in the air, and then adding the stress going onto it. All those are bullets for this emotional shotgun that's basically just placed in front of your face by your own thoughts that were supplemented. You know what I mean? So eventually that's straight up gonna hit your, or is kind of linked to your heart. So your emotional reaction is what's killing you, is what's causing you that damage. But that emotional reaction is loaded by the fucking bullets that the media programmed in your brain. See, if it wasn't for them telling you that the air is lava and then pushing up the stress and then bringing even more iconic programming, icons like the mask or the little cute little logo, virus logo, all of that crap, well, then you wouldn't be having that. It's just like Santa Claus, right? Or even the existence of God in certain people, depending if they got religious at a certain age, and how they were indoctrinated. So it's the same concept, and that's not to bash religion. There's certain ins and outs, but that's a whole different discussion. Okay, but we can open that box if you want to open that box. It's just there's some ins and outs to balance. Yeah, right now we want to focus on the cocoa, the big cocoa 19. So again, loaded bullets, so that if you see a thing from that perspective of, oh shit, the air is lava and you don't have a mask, so you're dangerous, based on what I was told by the programming of the media, then my own perception is gonna cause me emotional harm. You know, is gonna cause me to believe. It's like getting fed a poison placebo. You know, a poison placebo of the mind. Before you get the real poison placebo. Because, yeah, man, when it comes to that third shot, I'm still shocked at it. It's really fucked up. I didn't expect nanomachines to get involved with this and mitochondria manipulation, but okay, 2022, I'll just fucking roll with it and see how the information changes. You know, I'm not too versatile with it. I just heard about smart dust here and there and saw what kind of was investigated in certain sci-fi video games. So, okay, let's roll with the punches and see what kind of happens. So, this being the current situation laid out, you see how you can't just type that shit in because 8 minutes in, and now we're getting into the aspect of the Mandala effect. So, possibly thinking that we're going to see a manifestation of that effect, of the Mandala effect, because some people didn't figure out the interconnections that I kind of broke down. Some people never even tried neurolinguistic programming, never heard about it. Some people never heard about the MK Ultra experiments, and we have documentaries around, we even have movies referring to it. So people be programmed, but it's not done out of conscious choice. It's just something that happened. It's like having a big blindfold set up upon you from your birth, so that you have a limited range of information, and if you don't necessarily have parents that are aware, you won't fucking know. So you got to give them that compassion. Yet you'll also see them fighting for their narrative, because that's how school programmed us. So even if this information is out there, you know, this kind of information from various perspectives and points of views and different breakdowns are going to, you know, further be expanded upon online by various other people, or the aspect of, oh, how dare you not have the credential. Fuck this garbage, because now we've got more and more people in the metaphysical field, in the aspect of quantum science and various other things, that are actually doing the test. You see, the school programming, oh my god, I need to take this person's advice because this is their credential. Even though we've seen in the past how some people who had credentials were literally making money off people and fucking them over. So you see the inconsistency of the narrative, but people be programmed. That's how subconscious programming happens. So flip that to the side and kind of go on the aspect of the actual raw lived experience is being spoken about. So if there's ever a discrediting, bring that up to the face of those leftists and kind of go, oh, you're going to victim shame, are you? Seriously, sometimes you gotta hold them up onto their own values, which they are subconsciously, biasly applying, you know? So it's like programmed hypocrisy in a sense, but not necessarily consciously understood until you have them face it in a cheeky, non aggressive, but to the point way. So this requires a bit of juggling, and you can practice it in your mind whenever you got time. Yet we're going to see this aspect of one group of people still believing that there was an actual virus in the air because of media programming. It's kind of like how there was a percentage of people that thought War of the World was a real thing when it was first broadcasted in the radio in 1950s, around that time. And it wasn't that many, but it was still people. It was still a group of people that thought aliens were attacking because it was said on a radio. Now, you can see the same kind of effect with 9/11 for a certain amount of time, or even still up to now. Certain people didn't necessarily see the inconsistency between the towers falling and then being hit by a plane, as well as the documentation and the people, the boots on ground report of people that were there and heard explosions. There's still people that are just like, so I'm theorizing, and I'm kind of linking it up, theorizing to the Mandela effect. A certain set of people got a certain set of data and believed that this was that, and then act upon their life, or act in their life, act upon their life. See, the wording is tricky. They act in their life based on that information. They continue their life and perceive their life based on that information, not necessarily open to another set of information. And as we're starting to kind of grasp with the whole quantum understanding of things, is that as you believe it, so it is done unto you. You'll just keep going in that direction. If you only have, again, go back to the Santa Claus example. Best example you can have for a simplistic aspect of how you could kind of consider it the Mandela effect. As a kid, you thought this person would come down the chimney. You would leave the cookies and milk. You would expect the present, and you didn't necessarily have any other pieces of data. It was well advertised, well commercialized. You even seen the people with a costume. So, to a certain age, it just felt real, and you acted upon it every time that period was coming, and you also believed. And again, belief, faith is a big factor when it comes to the observer effect in quantum physics or metaphysics or even the law of attraction. Again, you can have it worked for your good, or you can have it work against you. It is all based on how you, how you perceive it. So this is gonna get quite fucking interesting, especially when we have also the, I want to be playful and cheeky, but the attack of the drones, meaning the NPCs, not the zombies, but the NPCs, those who took that first shot and had the right side of their brain completely locked off. So no empathy, no compassion, and with that, locking off of the rational but also emotional understanding and logical connections, they won't be able to kind of get you. They won't be able to see your context. They will ignore your context. They will stay data, And, well, that is no good. Because that's like having people completely programmed only to follow biased data. incomplete sets of data and information per se. It's one of the reasons why AI will never overcome humanity. Whatever fucking movie or documentary tries to make it scary, they don't fucking get it because they've never connected to their heart. They're still working off data shit. Or they haven't fully connected to their heart to understand that there's a very interesting connection when both sides of your brain are connected and the heart is open. Shit gets quantum, alright? That's another subject, but it's a very interesting thing to play with. And again, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. Go check out that audiobook. It should be on YouTube. People just kind of went YOLO. Everyone, learn it, play with it, do your exercise, and then let's us share information because fuck this egoic competition garbage. It never made sense. We gotta understand that as we share information together, we grow much faster. And it's not money, the limitation of money that should be in a way. Again, that system is gonna be crashed down soon because it's just getting dumb. And we're also collectively understanding this. It doesn't make sense. Why does the Indian rupee not as much as the Canadian dollar? One planet, one world, one species. Jeez, we all fucking are born the same way. No words, no memory, no action, no emotional attachment to any of it. And then we're shoved the shit from the past that, changes every 5 to 10 years. So why are we so stuck up on this? It's just because of petty people losing power, and we're seeing it right away. That's why they had to spring up the cocoa on people. Fastest way to wipe you out is to have you systematically reduce your own immunity system, thinking that you're doing good for you and others because of that TV programming. Do it for the others. Do it for the nakamas. Do it for the allies, You saw that language slowly progress over years, right? Do it for the allies and all of that. As well as, so do all of that. It's like play Russian roulette for the allies. What? That's not true compassion. True compassion is, I fucking know you got the same abilities as I because we're made of that same energy. And we all started the same way. So we all have that same potential in different areas because of our individual, granular, day-to-day, minute-per-minute life experience with all the 5 to 6 senses and our various degrees of awareness to them. So there's complexity and simplicity, but the simplicity also leads to complexity. You see how it flows? Welcome to non-duality. You'll get used to it, okay? So this is going to be a very interesting period, and guys, I'm in the same fucking boat. I'm like, whoa, this is going to be tricky, but we'll see what we can do collectively because we're not going to stick up or let like the attack of the drones continue. That's not necessarily a good term. The NPCs, we're not going to leave people, some of our friends, some of our compadres in NPC states. Because they were manipulated to taking something that didn't really help them. Because they were said, do it for the nakamas, do it for the friends, do it for everyone. You want to be part of the group, right? See, school programming, societal programming, easy, huh? Repetition, repetition, repetition. But the fact that this is causing a potential Mandala effect on one belief, oh my god, the air is lava, the air is lava, the air is lava. And, they won't necessarily look at the data. They won't look at the people who are whistleblowers, They won't look at this shifting data. But because they're so far anchored in there, the programming got so deep on top of the nanomachines in that third shot. Changing the mitochondria and then wiping out the right side of their brain. So no logical reasoning, no compassion, no understanding. It kind of want to help them. I know I can theorize that a counter shot with something that'll disable the nanomachine that are disabling the right side of the brain could help. And then the only second probability I can see, or second probability that I can see is energy healing. Because get up to date, it can be grafted and has worked a lot of time. See, I want to hammer that skepticism out of your brain because it's about time you get in on this shit, on these natural powers that they really wanted to suppress people. They really wanted to suppress people about that because Younger folks, that's why they kind of push the vaccines on kids. Younger folks, they tap into it really right away. They just don't balance it because they don't know, and most parents don't necessarily maximize their practices. And also, those from my pocket bubble of generation, we're gamers. So we have a conscious understanding on how to materialize and maximize this very immaterial type of understanding and knowledge. It's mostly a feeling thing. But like any practice, you can maximize, you can optimize, you can make it optimal, and then share it to people. So check out my TikTok, Therom, TheRomHQ underscore TIK, tick. And I do blast certain techniques here and there with 3 minute blasts, okay? And also, I have a podcast called Channeling Bits. So if you go on my Facebook, Therom HQ, you'll see sometimes I'll drop some. Whenever it happens, I'll just channel it through. Channeling is a thing we can all fucking do. That's another one for your skepticism. Seriously, break that shit. Watch the documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? Watch The Secret. Watch. There's multiple The Secrets documentary. The first three are good, even the one that's been edited. Understanding Abraham Hicks' dialogue, the emotional dialogue, and the emotional journey is a big key as well. I want to get some more science shit onto it. I think the Master Key System as an audiobook could be really good to get in on. Tony Robbins, if you look at his seminar or even participate to one of his seminar, you will feel vibration. That when he came to Montreal, that was the first time I felt that in a room that we were. And I'm like, okay, there's something to this shit. Because Mr. Motivator guy out there has gotten me to feel a transcendental experience. And I've never had that before, so what the fuck is that? And then I started to level grind this shit. I'm like, okay, there's got to be something to it. How do I corroborate the data, the testimonials? What is my own personal experience? And when I started to get in clue with how I thought, what my subconscious was thinking, as well as two, being bold and already claiming having it to begin with, so that the momentum of the observer effect, remember that, as you believe it, so it is done unto you. The momentum of the observer effect would feed me with more and more understanding of what I had claimed to have stated. So you see, channeling just becomes easier and easier and easier as you go along, and information reception as well as corroboration and synchronicity of corroborating elements for you to practice even further. It just, and I maximize this shit. So I'm just gonna spread some more techniques on TikTok and even my Facebook, because can't censor you for giving out techniques. There's only gonna be haters, but it doesn't really matter. They're not necessarily haters. They're just stuck in an ego thing, programmed without the conscious mind, and won't lift a finger to test things out for their own life. So it's kind of like having people who want to have a better life, but would rather just hit the wall of your posts instead of taking time and doing the work. It happens, but now it's just gone into overdrive. And frankly, I just find it fucking funny. I'm at a point where I'm no longer wasting time, though, because I was curious initially to go, whoa, that's more than simple neurolinguistic programming. There's just a complete denial of other people's experience and a complete denial of another reality, So, again, this is where I kind of bring out the Mandala effect potentially being experienced live. Some people will still go with the narrative being bombarded by the media. That was bombarded by the media, because now we have whistleblowers and people in the media knowing that, hey, momentum shifting. So, do I want my gel clothing in orange, or do I want them in gray? See, it's the aspect of understanding that you media people were part of that. You have indirectly, maybe directly, maybe indirectly, have applied hypnosis on people, and that's without their consent. You have led to death. You have led to despair, which then led to death. You have led to division, which has also led to death. Whether it be intentional or not intentional, you have still caused the life of people. So you are still liable for that damage. And the same kind of goes with government. Even big pharma as well. Same goes for big tech. There's no escape from this. You can't just go, "Oh, we're not liable for something that we actively pushed on you and forced on you." No. Four ways, man. Four ways. Four big players on this, and then some interconnected aspect. All of you going to jail. It's over. So, if you want to have maybe a cozier cell and a better arrangement for yourselves, or maybe you might evade some of the sentences. Depends on how early you're gonna start whistleblowing. Okay, it really depends on how early. You might have a tad bit more lenience, but you still affected millions, billions even. Now, even if on the legal aspect you might sneak off in the sunset, and hide in a cave, you're still not evading the karmic repercussions. There is a thing that is called a soul balancing. Oh, for fuck's sake, people, stretch your mind, okay? Because there has been reports of people who had what they call it. They call it near-death experiences. And there are corroborating stories between near-death experiences as well as people under hypnosis. So go check out Dolores Cannon's work, and then go check out Life Between Life, various near-death experiences. Then please connect the dots. So, you can also connect the dots with various channelings of souls that have already passed on, but discussed about that process. So, please connect the dots. So, this is just to inform you about what's going to happen to your soul. I always have this quote, and I love saying this quote because I'm a video game person, 10,000 years of hell is not enough compared to what you will face in that life transition, in that death experience to transition. Because you're going to feel everything that you have made people feel by your actions. Sure, you didn't pull the trigger, but you gave the order. You're still gonna feel that. How many people did you affect? Ooh, all the division. All the division, all the despair, all the drama, all the suicide. All the anger, all the hate, all the divisional hate and anger. Hockey team A versus hockey team B fighting each other. You're going to feel both sides. You're going to feel that repercussion. Apparently, what's being said from channeled material and multiple sources is Hitler's soul had to be put on ice. Because that was such an intense moment. Lawrence of Arabia had to... It felt like a void of darkness. Even if you're a hero, you take off lives. You still affect life. Even if you're doing it for a righteous cause, you have still taken away a life. You still impacted a life. So it's not about good, bad, right, wrong. This is a soul balancing thing. It's not the human programming of A and B or giant two short-term sandwich. This is just your soul balancing out what you have made others feel. So, you want to save some of those years, right? You want to save some of that shit, right? Start whistleblowing now. Because right now they're forcing people in foreign countries, and third world countries, as some would say, like in India and Nepal, they are forcing people to take the shot, even if they would have conditions. And this is still on you. So you're gonna feel that. You're going to feel the despair that each and every of those individuals are feeling as they are getting taken out of their home by the Coco Gestapo and forced to take a substance that can potentially kill them. And I've had that effect on certain people. You'll also feel the pain as well, incrementally, slow burned. You'll feel the fear of the counter placebo, because some of them already have the complete idea that it is going to kill them 100%, but it's only a percentage, and there's various granular factor to it. The one thing we know is it ain't helpful, and you fuckers lied about taking it, which is ironic when it comes to our Prime Minister Trudeau catching the cocoa right when the truckers came up to his door. Oh, and also he had the third dose, so that kind of smashes the narrative of the third dose being the one and only, which is what Legault was trying to pass on. So there goes the little theater teacher breaking off the script of his dancing partner. Woo! You're going to feel all of that. Start whistleblowing now. For your own soul. I understand you've been programmed and led to be there. And what I mean programmed is you were indoctrinated to think might is right, superiority over everyone. And you never necessarily had the compassion to understand, or the empathy to understand, the repercussions of your massive generalized action on individuals. You didn't even have the courage to look at the videos of testimonials of people who had negative side effects, or had lost people, or were bullied because they were standing their grounds. You didn't have the guts. Still going for power. But you were led to that kind of thinking. So you do get an aspect of compassion there. Yet understand that that process of life transition, it's still going to happen to you. You can ease it up though. So this is possibly the last chances that you'll get. Alright, as for everyone else, we're gonna roll with a punch. At this point, let's see what kind of goes. Hey, things are looking bright. UN arrests have started. You see certain places like France and Belgium that just automatically lifted some of this shit. UK as well. So it is starting. We just kind of want to wrap it up in court. Wrap it up. Okay? So that we can start helping the various other nations, third world, so that they can stop the Coco Gestapo from forcing people to get in there. Because if it wasn't for the inconsistent narrative and the narrative breaking in the West, and also the fine work of this bubble of generation, being able to have more eyes on grounds, being able to completely spot the media's blackout, to spot the media's manipulation, to spot the government manipulation, to spot the police force manipulation with Antifa, with all of that, the stage scenario, to spot all this and just spread the information on various other sources, to see big tech's various influences on the various mediums, so that they would try to black things out or censor things, to get that cute little COVID fact check on Facebook and on your videos. If it wasn't for this bubble of generation just proactively going, no, fuck you, it ain't gonna be like before, then we wouldn't have been able to get to this point where we could just go, wrap it up, okay? They're accountable, even if there's a little legal disclaimer. Fuck you, man. That would be like Hitler going, I have a little disclaimer saying that if I kill people and I burn them in the gas, I can get away. It's in the company. It's in the company terms and agreement. Wow, really, people? Fuck them. Life in jail. Don't need to go full medieval on them. But life in prison, just like what they did to the Unabomber that they created. That's another cool little story. Check out the Unabomber story, okay? Fucking created by the CIA, practically. Hey, they are responsible and accountable for this man. But they keep in life in prison. Anyway, that's another group that's gonna be round up. Whoa, Guantanamo's gonna have to be expanded. Whoa, that's gonna be some crazy shit, right? Alright, let's wrap it up. Get that shit swiped in court. Break down the systematic links between those big fours and five, as well as the interconnected aspect. Get the counter nanomachine anti-vaccine going. Let's also try to make to coordinate a global meditation aspect. Doesn't necessarily need to be at the same time. It feels like it works a bit more like a download bar or a percentage bar, so people adding to it without necessarily needing for it to be at the same time. It's energy. We're still figuring it out, but it seems to be working in a stack-up way instead of a forced way at the same time. You understand? Like, everyone... it doesn't work like the Goku Spirit Bomb. You don't necessarily need to do it at the same time. You can stack up that energy on its own. It'll just do the effect on its own, which it has, but that's a whole different topic. Please ask in the comment if you want me to go on these parallels. I'll go to the best of my degree and knowledge onto it, but I'll still try to refer to some exterior material, okay? Alright, so yeah, let's just wrap it up and let's send that help to the third world. Like, just let's stop their government right now. Stop them from deploying the Coco Gestapo, and same kind of goes with China. That shit needs to stop right now. Okay, they're attacking Tibet. There's a reason why. We could go into it in another video. See, gotta take some breath and gotta take some water. That's how fast you can get your brain to run. But you gotta balance the breathing. And I can't necessarily do it with this fucking apartment. Dust. Landlord couldn't give a fuck about her health. If anything, if you guys have donations, send it. You'll see it on the link tree that I have somewhere posted. Somewhere. Or even on the YouTube. Your help would be appreciated. But this is not something that is demanded, okay? I'm doing moves on my end as well. It's just a very tricky situation. And the fact that I'm in this building where the landlords couldn't give a fuck about their tenants, but would just go, all right, let's just get the construction to work. Let's update those apartments, make more cash. These idiots, cretins, of course, give them the compassion. They were blindfolded on this, but they didn't dare to put a fucking air purifier around the hall or even in each and every room as they were doing this. So dust just stacked up. And they were doing construction inside the building and outside the building. So that's kind of fucked up. But hey, I'm using quantum physics to battle it out. So it's a fun experience. It's just that, you know, the thing where it's like, okay, I'm using it to hold steady while I could maximize shit even further if I got out of this situation. So, hey, more workout on my end. Maximize that shit. And then bring you guys some more material. But donations would be appreciated. So, the link tree should be somewhere around. I'll see if I can post it at the in the descriptions. But, yeah, let's play with this. Share the media that's kind of happening. You'll also see me on Twitter and Getter as DeRomHQ, sending that information out there because we're at the end point of this shit. Faster than I predicted, though. Way faster than I predicted. I thought it was going to be middle 2022, but we are knocking it out at early quarter of 2022, so wow. The X Factor, energy. Can't fuck with it. And you can't just, again, the skepticism... As soon as you play with this and start connecting the dots, it's just gone. Alright? So, let's do this, guys. One planet, one world, one species. Ain't no fucking difference between all of us. Let's just get rid of that programming, and we're all here to help each other maximize that shit. We all have something to bring. So, let's go. You got this. We all got this. And it's gonna be, or you can already pre-perceive that, man, life is fucking good. Yeah.